Thank you guys so much for joining us. My name is Mackenzie Petrie. Today we have a few calls that have been going around in South Georgia, Georgia, the United States overall. Law enforcement are getting calls, well, not law enforcement, but residents and communities are getting calls from people who are posing as law enforcement and asking for money. Scam calls, essentially. So I'm joined by Lieutenant Patel of Albany Police Department, who has a little bit more information on how you can prevent these people from calling and what you should do if you receive a call like this. Lieutenant Patel, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing good. I cannot complain. Let me get on to that first question for you. One second. So, what are some of these things that scammers are saying as they pose as law enforcement officers?
So they're identifying themselves as local police officers. They have names and rank information somehow, and they're calling from numbers that would appear to be local, but they're all spoof numbers, and it'll make you kind of believe that they're legitimate people from the local jurisdictions. The main MO seems to be asking citizens for vital identification information or, you know, uh, telling them that there's a warrant that could be possibly out for them if they don't mitigate that issue via prepaid debit cards or prepaid credit cards or other wire transfers. So that has been the MO for the last couple of days here lately.
Thank you so much for that. And the next question would be, is there anything people can do to prevent these type of calls from coming to their phones?
Well, I don't think they can do anything to prevent these calls from coming to their phones, depending on how their phone setup is. But there are other steps that they can take. Um, if a person poses or identifies themselves as a local law enforcement officer, ask more questions. And remember this, no law enforcement officer will ask you to identify yourself via your date of birth or social security number or any other financial means. They Law enforcement officers do not call people, or court officers do not call people advising them that they have to pay monies before or a warrant will be issued for them, or any of those kind of collection methods. Law enforcement in general does not, participate in any kind of collection effort. So definitely to stay away from, giving out any of your vital information. They may even bait you to say, do you still live at this address? Or is this your birth date? Do not give them the right birth date. They're just baiting you to with those questions. So just be careful. And if there are any questions when you get these kind of calls, just call our non-emergency number to tell us about it. And if you have questions, we can answer them if you get future calls.
Thank you so much. Now let's get into the scammers. Are there any charges they potentially can face for potentially trying to scam people as well as impersonating a law enforcement officer?
Yeah, so the first criminal act would be them identifying themselves as a law enforcement officer. That's the criminal charge there. And when they ask you for this information, and depending on how they use it, whether they use it to obtain fraudulent credit cards, or when they defraud you with doing those bank transfers, there are a lot of financial transaction charges that could be filed against them. There's identity theft charges that could be filed against them. I mean, it depends on there's a whole lot of stuff that we could do once somebody files a report and has been a victim of one of these crimes.
So they could potentially be facing jail time for this if they're caught and charged with it.
Yes, yes, the most definitely. It's a criminal act, and there are serious consequences behind it.
Got you. And is there a way that you guys can track down these scammers? Maybe if they could provide a phone number or anything. Is there anything that people can do to help you guys be able to mitigate this problem?
Yes, so if you guys have phone numbers that they're calling you with, when you make police reports, please have those numbers available. Sometimes those are our biggest weapon to track them down, even though they're spoof numbers, but there's technology out here that can help and possibly get us a lead or two into that direction. So yeah, it's definitely helpful to get us those numbers and any other pertinent information that you can you know, that you can give us regarding their tone, whether they have accent, or if you suspect they're calling from foreign lines. Like most of the time, the scamsters are not even in the country; they're calling from faraway lands, and they may have an accent. So all those are important things to let us know when you're filing a report. So it helps us later on when we analyze this information to come across and develop suspects.
Well, thank you so much, Lieutenant Patel, for making some free time for me today. I really do appreciate it, and I'm sure our viewers do appreciate it as well with all the good information that you just gave them. Viewers, if you want to find out more information about this, as always, just tune into WALB.com, and you can find more about this as well in our newscast later at 5 p.m. Thank you guys so much for watching.